Yeah, I would say consistency. Consistency is the biggest thing. You know, we always preach efficiency, and I think just as a young player getting to this level, and then you know he really ran hard, did a really good job. But I think to me he almost took sometimes too many hits. And I think that understanding the system and understanding, you know, how we're trying to attack, the more that he can understand that, the more he's going to be able to protect himself and get more out of each run play.
Those plays where he's waving guys at him, you kind of looking back, you sort of cringe, like save yourself a little bit.
Not at all.
No.
Not at all. Definitely that's a lot. That's how kind of our offense's personality is. You know, we want that. I mean, we want everybody to feel that way. I mean, Marquise gets after it. He's one of those guys that kind of does the same thing. I mean, it's a contact sport, and you want guys that want contact and get excited for it, and that's kind of how you can wear defense down and really bring it to them, because defenses are always trying to hit you. So it's about being able to be the enforcer.
How do you think he looks?
Stay healthy though, right? Because I mean, he's got to stay healthy, and you would think the less.
Everybody's got to stay healthy.
But the fewer number of hits that he would take would be a little bit better for him.
Yeah, you know, the one time, you know, you sit there and say, "Ooh, I want you to protect yourself." I don't want him to change. I want him to be him. I want him to do his style. You know, I never want him to change. I just want him to be able to understand the system more, so he can run even smarter. But still never lose that aggressiveness. I mean, that's what makes Leonard. I mean, that's what gets everybody excited, gets me excited, makes me want to call another run. So I think that's the thing is, of course, it's about injuries, but those things we can't control. You know, I mean, you can look at last year, the things that we had to deal with in and out of all the guys that were in and out of the lineup consistently, from the line to the wide receivers. It's part of this game. That's why you have to build a system and adjust. And I mean, obviously, I want everybody healthy the whole season.
He's only been here 2 days, I guess, yesterday and an early one. But he says he came in lighter. And he feels a lot better. Seems like he says
he was moving really well yesterday.
Yeah.
I think it's
noticeable to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, I think there's always this fine line of where you want to be and how you can hold that weight, and I think he's just kind of still trying to figure that out, and we just want him to be able to play the most confident and ready as he can be.
There were times last year where Blake literally had to tell him where to line up and what he was doing. Do you think he's got a better grasp of the offense and the play?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I walked in there into the huddle, and you know, he and TJ were trying to fight over which one was going to be which position, and I'm like, whoa, we all know what we're doing, and you know, I mean, it's one of those things. That's what you want. You want guys to understand where they can be within the routes, where they can be within the run game, and where they can line up, and that's them owning the system. And I think that, you know, that's only going to come with experience. I mean, to say he's going to have a full grasp of it after, you know, going into this year, I mean, no. I mean, I don't think anybody really ever does, but it's definitely going to be much better.
Where's he on the scale of fun personality kind of guy? Because we see him on social media, and the guys think he's hilarious. Is he like that all the time in the meeting rooms?
Yeah, you know, I mean, he has a business approach, but at the same time, I mean, you guys know me. I mean, it's football. We play the game. We don't work the game. So, you know, I want to always have fun and at the same time be serious, understand what we have to get done. But, I mean, we got to enjoy ourselves. I mean, it's such a grind. And so I think everybody across the board on the offense, you know, we have an upbeat personality. We're all fired up. We're all joking, messing with each other. I mean, there's just so much just so much around us and in this game that you have to be a little lighthearted. And I think Leonard fits that role really well, fits with everybody's personality.
Rashad Green's yet to play a full season. Do you have some expectation or even belief that he's capable of that?
I mean, we have high expectations for everybody that comes out there and plays. And, you know, I mean, what has happened to Rashad in the past is stuff that he couldn't control. I think right now he's just going as hard as he can and trying to take advantage of every opportunity, you know, he gets, and he's doing a great job at that. And that's how we challenge all the guys. I mean, from, you know, Shane Wynn to Marquise Lee to all those guys, it's just keep battling, keep pushing, just make yourself better, master your craft. And I think that's what we're always trying to push for everybody.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, is he more versatile than maybe a lot of people thought he was just a punt returner or maybe a slot guy? Is he a little more versatile than that?
I mean, he's definitely versatile. I mean, he's a smooth wide receiver that has a lot of good quick shake and control of his body. And he's just a guy, you know, we're excited to see as the pads come on, as training camp goes. We just want to keep seeing him. And he's doing everything he can to put himself in position to get out on the field.
How does Austin Severian-Jenkins' route running and receiving ability open up this offense?
A lot. If you ask Ron Middleton, the tight ends open every play. And so I think it's one of those things, having a guy like Austin, I mean, his work ethic has been awesome. I mean, just coming in here, learning a new system, his desire and want is great. And then you added his size and, his speed, his ability to block, which I think has been something that has been really exciting to see from him. But I mean, the more guys you can get on the field that you feel can make a play and that Blake can sit back there and trust, the more exciting it's going to be, the more opportunities we're going to have to be efficient and get big plays. So he definitely adds another dimension.
With what you have now at tight end, kind of some of the different bodies, does that change the way you kind of use the fullback and tight end positions with Franz?
We've always talked about wanting to be as versatile as possible. I mean, if you can put 3 tight ends out there and then a fullback out there and then all tight ends and all wide receivers, and just always continually mix it up so that the defense doesn't necessarily get a beat on what you're doing. I think that's always something that you can really utilize to your advantage. And we definitely have the tight end group's really good. They can run fast. They're doing good blocking, and so I think we're excited about them. And the fullback too brings another dimension. So just being able to kind of go back and forth just kind of keeps the defense on their heels.
You had a lot of guys need to get acclimated. ASJ, Moncrief, Charlie. How's that gone? You feel like they have chemistry, more so threes?
Up to this point, everybody that we've brought in, they've really fit well. They've great personalities, very good work ethics. I think last year, we did a good job for the guys that are here, that we've established kind of how we want to practice, how we want to work. And I think having a guy like Marquise in there that went through it all year, a guy like Keelan, and Keelan and Dede, they're still young, but you look at a guy like Marquise that has been through the ringer and then had the success, and he really takes it upon himself to let everybody know, hey, we come out here and we run, we work. And that's something that just across the board, I mean, just the offensive line, all the new guys that have come in, the great thing from a coaching standpoint is it's not necessarily the coaches saying, hey, go faster, hey, do this. It's the players pushing it because they understand what it did to put us in position to get far in the playoffs last year.
Now that you've had a month with Blake, right where you wanted him to be, or comfort-wise, everything, right on track?
Yeah, Blake is right on track. I think you're always going to want more from Blake. I mean, he's the quarterback. You're always going to want to push him more. But I think his ability to understand what we're trying to do is just increasing dramatically. Just the other day, a play we planned for a specific front, all of a sudden you get something different, he checks completely out of it. So I think those are just the things that you want to keep pushing him on is, hey, this is why we want this play. All of a sudden it's not a great look, okay, let's do something else. And I think the more that you can put him into those situations and he can start adjusting, it's really good to see because it's just his understanding. So now he can just go out there and play, and it's not a panic mode of, oh gosh, especially when you're dealing with Coach Wash's defense. They got a lot of good guys, and they're bringing people from everywhere. And it's not oh gosh, where are they coming from? It's, really trying to dissect it and see if he can figure it out and get it. So it's a different challenge at practice for him because it's not about learning a new play. It's about how can I make this play better. And I think those are the good things about where Blake's going. But, you're always going to want more from him. He's a quarterback at an NFL football team. You're always going to want to push him and always try to find ways to get him better.
Do you feel like you're doing less coaching in that sense with him, or?
I know there's always a lot of coaching, always a lot of things. I feel like every play you could spend an hour on almost and dissect it, with the quarterback, because there's just so many things that a quarterback goes through. But I would say that, like I said a little bit ago, is the conversations are just so much different. You're not saying, just the most elementary things. You're actually really starting to talk about different technique. Even from the line, hey, if you do this, you're putting the line in this situation instead of, hey, let's talk about your footwork and stuff. We still detail all that stuff up, but it's just not as much there.
What's been your evaluation of Will Richardson so far?
Good. He's coming along. Anytime you have a rookie, it's always going to be a little growing pains when you put him out there versus some of these defensive ends that are rushing on him. But I think, his explosion shows up on tape. His willing to work and how he's studied is really an impressive thing. So we just got to keep him rolling and keep him up to speed.
See a guy that you still think can be the swing tackle, or is there one spot that?
Right now, we're just been in short. So I think any of that stuff, especially with the offensive line, when you try to evaluate them, there's a lot of the quickness and stuff like that you can talk about, but everything changes when they put the pads on. Across the board. So that's when the great evaluations start to happen.
How much of an ascension do you expect the O-line to take with Norwell there?
It's one of those things. They were, you look back at it. There was a lot of good things we did last year. From the sacks to the running game and all that stuff. Andrew brings, just just his demeanor and how he is really just brings everybody up even more. But you know, I think the line's going to have a chance to be pretty good this year. I mean, it's very exciting to see what they've all done. You know, AJ and Linder and Parnell, and then you've got Cam that's going to be a second year. I mean, there's so many good things about that offensive line, and adding Andrew just, I mean, it definitely helps. I mean, he's a good football player.
Are you a little bit on the conservative side by saying pretty good?
You know, it's one of those things is you never want to overshoot it or undershoot it, but it's one of those things is it's not something that you're sitting here as a coach going, oh gosh, I don't think we're going to be able to do this run play. Or it definitely opens up a lot more in the running game, a lot more in the things you can do in the pass protection, because you just feel a lot more solid about all 5 of them across the board. There's not a lot of weak spots that you're nervous about truly protecting from that standpoint. There's always things you'll game plan, but a little more freedom to do some fun things.
How did Cam look yesterday getting those team reps?
Cam Robinson?
Oh, sorry, AJ Can.
Oh, AJ Can. Good. I mean, he looked really good. I mean, it was good to have him out there rolling, and just want to keep him rolling.
What's your thoughts about backup running backs? Do you see someone emerging like a Leonard? I mean, well, not like Leonard, but somebody that you can play that similar style.
I'll tell you, the 3 guys that we have right now, I think are guys that all have a lot of game experience that have done a really good job. I mean, you look at Leonard, you look at TJ, you look at Corey, those 3 guys, and even the young guys are really developing because they've got such great role models ahead of them on how to play the position. I mean, TJ's intelligence level is off the charts, and his ability to run the ball, I mean, that's really, really improving. You can see more explosion start to come from him, and just his ability to pass protect and be able to catch the ball from the backfield. And then you got little Corey running all over the place. So, you know, it's a real good backfield right now. I mean, I'm excited. That's another group that you're excited to see where they're going to go. And for me, it's I want to be sure to keep all 3 of them as fresh as possible. It's a long season, and we like to run the ball. So you definitely want to get the ball in all 3 of those guys' hands.
Last one, guys. Go ahead.
Can you just talk a little bit about going to the playoffs and the success that you had last year and the hunger now that's in these guys to get back there looking ahead to the season?
It seems so long ago. It was a great experience for everybody to see what level of play that is. I think that's one of the things. The regular season is it's awesome. It's great, but nothing compares to playoffs. It's a one and done world, and it's put everything you have into it. And I think just that experience for them, because we were a new group going into the playoffs from a long time, and not a lot of guys had playoff experience. So I think just that fact right there for them to realize, oh my gosh, we can get here, and wow, we can win, and we can do some good things. So I think that's the thing, that it's that comfort level of, okay, we can get there again. We know what we have to do, and all the things that we've done to get up there, we can do that again and maybe even more. And I think that's the thing that from the offensive standpoint, those guys are excited about. And they know that they had a chance. We all had a chance to be able to go even further. And, now it's kind of what's to get you over that hump and where that is. And I think just the realistic version of, hey, we can get there again is just exciting enough as it is. And they know that they've got to work even harder just to get over that hump, because it's kind of like that once you get there, and, especially the team that we were playing, I mean, they're very good, and, you have to go even harder. You might have thought you worked harder, but now we got to go harder.
And you see that out of the guys.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and that was the thing that I was talking about, is just watching how they're practicing. It's not necessarily it's not us screaming at those guys saying, hey, get up to the line, hey, get in the huddle, hey, tighten it up, or this and that. It's them correcting each other, and it's them doing it themselves. And I think that's so much fun from a coaching standpoint, because the more that they can take ownership, is the more they're going to take ownership on the field, and the more the product on the field is going to get better. That's what's exciting.